Fashion is a way to express yourself. I think it's cool for people to know who you are without really talking to you or knowing you yet. And not only that, but to represent what you like in what you wear. Hi, I'm Nisreen. My dream is to be an art director for films. What you wear can say so much about you. Fashion is how I want people to see like who I represent. So for example, when I did my haircut not long ago, when I told her like I wanted this like shag style, which is like a long mullet, she told me like oh, are you into a retro style? Because I can see it from your like outfit. Growing up, I feel like I was trying to blend in. People were telling me what to wear, you know, coming from like a conservative background. So the idea of like standing out was not like, especially as a plus size person too, like, oh, don't show off your stomach, like always wear loose clothing so that I don't show my curves, you know, and that took a toll on me. Fashion saved me because I started gaining confidence and started representing myself and who I am. The style that I started liking when I got into fashion was mostly 50s, and it was very hard in early 60s as well. And it was very hard because that era of style is more like towards thinner, like a thinner waist, and early 60s, like for example Twiggy, like so skinny, you know.
She can earn 300 guineas a week standing on her twig-like legs.
I feel like I belong more with the late 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s because plus size were more accepted in society. There's also like subcultures. In the 1940s, wearing pants became like a huge thing for women because women started working. It made a comeback again in the 80s because women, you know, the businesswoman became a term, and you saw a lot of women going back to the workplace after the second wave feminism. I was watching a lot of 50s movies like 5 years ago, a lot. So like at least 300 movies a year of classic films. Growing up, I was really inspired by Audrey Hepburn, and I still am inspired by her. Like she's one of my muses. Because you don't see a lot of plus size representation in media. They're always the stereotypical like, I don't know, side character or the nerd, or like the lazy kid. Pop culture for sure plays like a big role in that. I can't even think of like a plus size now that I think about it. I don't have like someone I look up to that's plus size. Most of the celebrities that influence me are all like thin, like models. Like when I didn't have confidence, my fashion wasn't expressed at all. Like I didn't have my own identity. It was like a loss of identity. But I feel like when you feel that you look good and you're expressing yourself, you have confidence. You're like, oh, like I feel good, I look good, I'm expressing myself, this is what I like. So yeah, it was like a process of feeling confident and expressing myself and not being like told what to do and being more independent as well. I mostly go to thrift stores or online shopping, UK based, like ASOS and Mudcloth. They all like, I love what they offer for plus size. Montreal it's not a good, for me it's so hard to find like plus size clothing. An example is when I bought my prom dress, and I hated my prom dress, but I used to go shopping with friends, like when they used to go to Zara, and I used to like wish that it had my size, because I felt left out. Or I used to have like stairs, like well, what is she doing here? Like, we don't accommodate her size. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to. I feel so uncomfortable. In fashion, there's no distinction between the subjective and the objective. Fashion thinks in images. It does not need logical connections. It is evocative, not rational. Brands are merely mental representations. Some barriers I'm facing, there's so many. I think, like, I don't know where to start. I just think it's so frustrating. Like, sometimes I always like look at websites I love that project the style I like, but they don't have my size, and it's very frustrating because I'm like, oh my god, I keep thinking like, oh, if I was thin I could wear so many things, I could go even crazier. Sadly, plus size clothing, I realized how expensive it is, and like when I go thrifting, a lot of people tend to buy clothes that's plus size and make it oversized, and I'm like, you know, a plus size person could actually wear these pieces. And it breaks my heart when I find a piece I'm in love with and it's like not my size at all. I think that's one of the reasons why I really want to learn how to sew and just get my own fabric or even design my own pattern. I know my body more than companies know my body. It'd be cool to have like more plus size people like in the fashion industry working, you know, to represent themselves at the same time and to represent plus size people. I also like seeing more like advertisements targeted towards like plus size people, you know, because we're always bombarded with like, oh, you know, like the idea of beauty and idealized beauty. It's always like the skinny, thin model, rather than representing the main culture, like representing subcultures. You know, I think it's important. A store is doing like size 1 to 12. Why don't you just do all the sizes? Like, why do you stop? What, like, in a way they're limiting themselves too. You can do up to size 12. You can do more sizes at the same time. Why are we limiting ourselves? We always talk about like think outside the box. You know, I just hate the idea of numbering. We're always numbered. You know, we always have this label. We shouldn't limit ourselves, because at the end of the day, it's subjective. So we should think outside the box, be more inclusive, love yourself and love what you wear. That's all, folks. Peace. That was so bad.